Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 88 of MotoGP 21 Career Mode. In today's episode we are back to Qatar for race 2 of the season. Now in mind I have some setup changes I want to make to hopefully find the bit of performance we were lacking in race 1 and round 1 of the championship. Now they are small changes, they're not going to revolutionise the bike. There is some ingrained errors and mishaps with the bike at the moment that I'm not going to be able to rule out this weekend, so it's not going to be a perfect weekend, but main thing I'm hoping for is that we just get a clean qualifying, no more technical glitches in qualifying, and hopefully on that merit it'll lead us to having a decent grid position, clean start, and then the race is up. We won't have to stretch the tyres as much, and we hopefully will be able to just kind of play the race at our own kind of pace and kind of see where we end up. Nonetheless, let's jump over now to the end of free practice in Doha. So free practice done, P2. On paper, a very good result, but I must say I was very much struggling through that session. Tried all sorts of different tyres, couldn't really get anything going, was having a lot of spin. Same issues really as race 1 unfortunately, so it looks like we haven't really made a step with the setting. Tried some things, maybe marginally quicker. It doesn't feel much quicker. I feel like I'm on the limit to make that lap time, and that lap time was done with a toe, so a bit of an asterisk really next to me there, and it was a flash in the pan lap. So going hopefully directly through to Q2 will be the ideal scenario, and maybe we can pull another lap out, but I feel like maybe everyone else has made a step this weekend, whereas I don't feel like I have. Again, timing screens might look a bit, mightn't show that as much, but I don't think we have the pace for the podium this weekend. And again, I think we might struggle. I think we might be in a row where Frankie is at the moment, kind of top 10. So maybe it looks like just Qatar might be just one of those tracks I'm not gluing with at the moment. So hopefully we can find something in for qualifying and in Saturday morning's practice, and if not, maybe in warm up, because we just need just something, because at the moment I really feel like I can't fight, and I don't have any chance of overtaking at the moment, which is a big issue with a track that's very friendly to overtaking usually. So hopefully qualifying goes a bit more smoother for me and we get an easier lap time that comes to me nicer. So we tried some things in free practice 3 this morning, didn't work unfortunately, so we are back to pretty much what we ran yesterday evening in the cooler conditions in FB2. It's going to be a hard session this, to be honest. I'm aiming for a top 6. If I can be on the front 2 rows, then at least I can kind of maybe get away with them and I have a chance, but at the moment slightly down on the confidence at the moment, to be brutally honest. So this Yamaha's making shapes around this track that it really shouldn't be, and I feel like that maybe the first crash on the M1 is inside at this track, especially in qualifying where you're going to try and find everything. Usually where you're fast on the Yamaha is through these corners here, and this is where I'm having most problems really, just backing in, sliding on entry. Don't really have the front end down to a T, so we'll push on, we'll see what we can do. But again, TYRE also is very much an issue, so I'm not really sure how many laps I can get out of a set of tyres, so it's going to be quite difficult to get a good clean lap in as well as a quick one. So we have a minute left in qualifying, not really doing much at the moment I'm afraid. Decided to go with a fresh rear medium and a pre-scrubbed hard front. That's pretty much what my best lap so far this weekend has come on, with 1.9 off Qatar at the moment, which is worrying considering he's my teammate, but we'll see. Can we just get something out of this last lap here in Q2? But at the moment it's going to be a P9 start, which isn't going to be an amazing start, to be honest. big moment in the final corner. Definitely didn't help my drive, but it's going to be a quick lap this, I'd say.
Let's have a look at the times after the second and last qualifying session. Our live broadcast ends here for today. Thanks for joining us. Tune in again tomorrow for live coverage of the MotoGP Class Grand Prix.
So, P5 51.8. Pretty much again, matching my absolute outright speed. Zarco the low 51. Simply do not have the speed in the bike for me at the moment. Fabio again, maybe being a bit of an outlier, getting pretty much the max out of the bike, I'd imagine, because the fact of the matter is, go back last week, exactly the same thing happened with Fabio. He got an amazing qualifying position, didn't really match it in the race, so I'm believing that again at 51.2 is going to be a stretch for Qatar to kind of match it up in the race with similar race pace in terms of the Ducatis around them. So it's a Ducati 134. 2 and 5 for Yamaha doesn't look too bad, but again, half a second off the Ducati of P1 for me is a bit of a margin considering I was on the limit and that's a satellite Ducati, so it's going to be a tough race. But again, we've got my original target of the second row or above, and we can actually fight now for this one, because starting so far back in our debut for the Yamaha team was always going to be tough in race 1, but now that we have some track knowledge, we might have a better race. But still unsure of the tyres, just because I felt like I was limited a lot in race 1, but that'll all be decided in warm-up practice.
The Qatar Motorcycle Grand Prix will start shortly here in Doha, and the riders are ready to compete on an amazing illuminated racetrack.
So our best grip spot of the season. Let's see what we can do. Not but a good start. Could be brave into one. Small stoppy. Oh, we've actually run quite a bit wide. Oh, we get set up massively by our teammate, and that is one of the Hondas down. I'm not really sure who it was, but our good qualifying position has gone out the window. We're pretty much at the back. Cannot believe it. We're behind Lorenzo Salvadori once again. We had so much trouble passing and battling this guy in race 1. It's going to be a nightmare to get through, but at least straight away we're on the back when we don't have a gap to catch back up like we did in race 1. We're going to try and be aggressive early. Going with a hard front tyre and a medium rear. Wanted to consider the hard rear, but just the fact it's so cold might get cold tears, as well as I do remember testing it a few times out and it just didn't offer the longevity that you would believe a hard tyre should. So we're trying to be very aggressive here early on in this race to see can we get ourselves some momentum to go forward in this one. So end of the first lap, amazing drive off the final corner. I must say already I'm a bit worried about my front tyre temp as well as deg on the first lap. That's a lot considering we have another 7 full laps to go. Oh, we are massively set up by Luca Marini, not Marina. So you might have some issues in a couple laps with that front tyre. Now it's felt the best tyre through practice. I've had the most confidence in it, but it's very cold around this night track. And I must say, it's not going to give me confidence for much longer if it stays that temperature. And I don't really brake too hard at many of these corners. A lot of them is just roll off and trail brake to the apex a small bit. In fairness to my teammate, Fabio still leads, which is showing that the Yamaha isn't as bad as I'm probably making it out to see at it. But at the moment, 2 positions ahead of me is Maverick Vinales, and 2 positions ahead of him is Valentino Rossi. So I think we're showing that maybe Fabio at the moment is maybe outdoing the Yamaha, to be honest, because I definitely don't have that sort of speed that he does. I don't think the rest of us do on that bike either, so he's really putting in a stellar individual performance at the moment. Oh, moment for Binder! I saw him lose the front on the previous curb. I drifted wide and that cost him dearly. So that is one position gain. That's a crash that people had in the last race as well. So clearly is a big issue, and that is that the two factory Ducatis. I cannot believe it. Once again, they've gone down. It looks to be like maybe a collision from the two of them. 51.8 immediately from Fabio. So Fabio's speed already is absolutely crazy. We're up to P13. We're still trying to follow our way back into the pack, and we're just kind of going nowhere with our speed. We're trying to fight off the satellite Hondas, I believe. So again, not an amazing Qatar GP. I suppose this is the Lasalo now at this point, since it's the second one. So I feel like maybe just using too much rear tyre as well. So I feel like we're going to really struggle in the latter part of this race. But at the moment, we're doing our utmost and our best really to stick in this group, but I'd still feel the worst is yet to come from this Yamaha for me. So we are dropping from Petrucci a small bit, which is good getting away from him, and we are just about edging up onto the back of a Luca Marini on the Ducati, so maybe potential top 10 on the cards. Alex Rins ahead in P11, last week's winner, so it shows that the track definitely is feeling different this week if he's having such a poor race, considering he was winning last time out. Rossi's having a great race up ahead of me on the other Yamaha. That was brilliant drive, so maybe some issues early here or midway through the race, or say from Luca Marini, because that really looked like he just didn't hook it up right. And that is a surprise overtake really on a position I wouldn't really think I'd make the move, especially after last week, considering I had so many issues in there trying to get the bike hooked up to get drive out of there, and I just couldn't get the overtakes on the satellite KTMs, and I'm just doing the Ducati there on it, so I'm really surprised with that one. Again, you just see Jorge Martin pumping in front. I'm trying to limit it as much as I can to give myself something late in the race. We're wide there. The inside, or the right side of my front really is just non-existent. I was making some progress this lap, but I feel like I would have noticed my tyre so bad, probably I'm going to ride a little different, knowing that any moment the front could lock and go, which is scary at a cold, dark circuit like Qatar. Oh, Zark goes down, another Ducati down in the final corner. Looks like he's done it all on his own, so that's another position gained. And he uses as much power through here, get up through the gears. We again looked like when we were able to clear a track, we seemed to have a bit of speed. It was a 42.4 last time around. Nothing amazing compared to what my teammate in the lead is doing, but nonetheless I think it's just enough to be matching the kind of guys around me, and to be honest, we're not a million miles off kind of podium pace and in and around that pack, so I'm going to ride through this weird front tyre situation they have and keep pushing, because every point will count at the end of this season. I can't afford to give my rivals a nice margin to start with, so I'm going to really try here to take some points when we can. So I really have to try and change up my map, and I've actually gone rear, taking some rear traction off just to allow myself basically to use more rear tyre to kind of basically try and balance out the fact that I have a dud of a front tyre in at the moment. So it doesn't feel too bad. It's just, again, I'm very conscious through corners like this that any spike in temperature could lead to me ending my race early and heading for the shower. So try not to shred the back tyre either, because I will need that to get to the line. Corners like that I just don't have the, as soon as we get off the centre part of the tyre, which we still in fairness have a nice bit of, I just don't have that trail braking feeling that I need. The tyre doesn't feel too bad, I just know for a fact though that it's close to its limit. Can we have a look up the inside into the final corner? Maybe potentially. It's a touch defensive in fairness to Martin, being a little bit coy. Doesn't get a great exit though. And we get a nice flowing run. Should just about get him to the line, or hold him to the line. I'd imagine he's going to come back at me. Fairness up, Ducati isn't as quick as it once was. Or else the Yamaha boys have done their job and getting me some horsepower, but I just feel like out of the corner I still lack it when it's kind of an equal race. And just again, when the front's pushed so much, he's probably going to fly through. Not yet. Second track limit warning. I managed that again because we got up to 4 last time in the last race, which is dangerous territory to be in. Oh, I full lean. Just don't feel like I have anything to deal with, which I don't. If this corner is going to be very dangerous. I have a 0 tyre left on the indicator. Still doesn't feel bad, which is positive in a way, I suppose. Third misdemeanor. I feel like I even went off there, but set off one of the sensors, unfortunately. Gotta be careful of my rear tyre through here a small bit. Finish down to the canvas now on the front. I start walking in these corners very, very fast if I'm not careful. Feel like I might be holding up the boys behind me. Whoa, that's an audacious move from Jorge Martin to be on that much curb. I'm down to start the final lap. We're going to use a lot of fuel out here just to kind of defend from the buckers behind us. I think P10 is probably going to be our lot, really, unless something happens from some of the boys in front. Surprisingly, Fabio still leads it. Good for the team's championship and the constructors, but not good for me, considering I've been outdone by my teammate massively today. Thankfully they're not near, because that was a mistake through there. I'm really trying to push to get myself near Rins. I just don't think it's enough. I think now we just need to be careful not to get a track limits here on this last lap. Oh, we've gone very wide. Can we pull it down to the race line? We can. Front tyre is really causing us bottles now. Rear tyre as well is not much better. And that is the KTM in front of us, all for Petrucci. We're going to try to roll it through here so he can get a run on him. He's not got that really clean. Touch the curb though. I'm going to try and drag him to the line, get a good exit. He's got a poor run through the corner, I must say. Out of the slipstream, up to the line. We are going to get him, thankfully. But it's not going to be another good result, really. P10, unfortunately.
Before going to the podium awards ceremony, let's take a look at the final MotoGP race results.
So it's inline 4, 1, 2 from Quartararo and Mir, Frankie P4, Rossi P6 and Maverick P7. So all the Yamahas in the top 7, bar me down at P10. So the worst of my manufacturer this week, which is not great. Maybe showing a small bit of single-mindedness in the terms of setup. Fastest lap of the race, 50.9, 50.6 from Binder. So again, when they get a bit of clear track, it really shows what my fellow competitors can do. So what does that do for the championship? Surprise, surprise, Fabio takes over after a strong race 2. It's actually inline 4, 1, 2, 3, 5 in the championship. Rossi, Morbidelli all up in the top 10. I drop and stay in P12 after an average start, really, considering I'm a factory Yamaha rider. Really would much more like to be in the top 4 after the first 2 rounds, but I have mentioned until we get to kind of Jerez, I don't really know what I'm going to be able to do with this bike. When we get to Jerez, I'll know pretty much how the season will go. So next time out, I believe it is Portimao, which isn't a great track for me on MotoGP in general. So another tough week ahead, potentially. But then hopefully when we get back to Europe and the more traditional European calendar, I can start taking points off. The main thing is we don't lose too many points to the likes of Qatar. Already 28 points back, which is a bit worrying, but it's a long season. We've plenty of opportunities to take it back. So once we get into our rhythm, hopefully the wins will start to come in the podiums and the front rows and the pole positions and the fastest laps. So it'll be a long season yet, but that is that. So that is where we're going to leave today for episode 2. Another tough weekend in Qatar, but thankfully we are done now with the dark deserts of Doha, and now we can move on to a more traditional racetrack in Portimao and hopefully have a better result there. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, and thank you all for watching once again. Slán go fóill.